All right, let's talk about that moment. You know the one. You're looking at a huge stack of financial paperwork, and it feels like you're just staring into a bowl of alphabet soup. Well, you are definitely not alone. Today, we're going to grab a spoon and figure out exactly what those letters mean for you.
So picture this. You're just about to sign for that new house or car, right? And suddenly you're getting bombarded with all these acronyms. TILA, RESPA, ECOA. I mean, they're supposed to protect you, but honestly, it just feels intimidating. But what if I told you that just 5 of those letters, Z, X, C, B, and V, are actually a powerful shield, a shield for your rights?
So let's dive right in. And you know what? We're going to start at the end of the alphabet with the letter Z. Why? Because it tackles one of the absolute biggest headaches when you're borrowing money. Those nasty, unexpected costs that just pop up out of nowhere.
I mean, this is the real question, isn't it? You see one interest rate advertised, but then suddenly there are fees and closing costs and a bunch of other charges. How are you supposed to compare apples to apples and figure out the real, honest-to-goodness price of borrowing?
Well, that is exactly where Regulation Z comes in. It's the muscle behind the Truth in Lending Act, or TILA, and it is all about transparency. It basically forces lenders to lay all their cards on the table, in a really clear, standard way. No more hiding the ball.
And here's how it actually helps you. Reg Z says lenders have to show you the APR, the annual percentage rate. Now that's not just the interest rate, it includes most of the fees, so you get the true annual cost, super important. Plus, it gives you a 3-day cooling off period for some loans on your main home, just in case you get cold feet. A little breathing room.
So if there's one thing to remember, it's this. Z is for zero surprises. That's it. When you get to that closing table, you should know exactly what you're paying.
Okay, next up, let's talk about the letter X. This one kind of builds on that whole transparency idea. It takes us beyond just the loan terms and drops us right into the sometimes confusing world of real estate closings, the settlement process.
So just imagine for a second. Your real estate agent, your lender, and your title company are all passing around secret payments just for sending your business to each other. So who ends up paying for those kickbacks? Yep, you do, through higher closing costs. It's a really abusive practice that, believe it or not, used to be pretty common. And enter Regulation X. This is the law that puts the Real Estate Settlement Procedures Act, or RESPA, into action. Its whole job, its entire purpose, is to clean up that closing process and protect you from those shady backroom deals.
And it gets the job done in a few really important ways. First, Section 8, it flat out bans those kickbacks. Gone. Section 10 puts a stop to lenders making you stuff way too much money into your escrow account for taxes and insurance. And Section 6, that makes sure that after everything's signed, your loan servicer has to treat you fairly and fix any mistakes fast.
So, here's the easy way to remember it. Regulation X X's out all those shady practices. It literally marks the spot where fairness becomes the law of the land in settlements.
All right, our next 2 letters, C and B. Now, these are interesting because they work together. Think of them like a 1-2 punch, fighting one of the most serious, deep-rooted problems in all of lending, discrimination.
Look, being able to get credit is absolutely fundamental to building wealth in this country. But for decades, so many people were denied that chance based on things that had nothing to do with their finances, their race, their gender, their religion. So the big question is, how do you build a system that only judges people on their financial merits?
And the answer, it turns out, comes in 2 parts. First, you've got Regulation C. Think of this one as the detective. It makes lenders collect and report data on all their loans. Why? So regulators can spot widespread patterns of discrimination across the whole industry. Then you have Regulation B. This is the enforcer. It's the law that walks up and says you cannot discriminate against this specific person. It makes it flat out illegal.
So Regulation C, that's the Home Mortgage Disclosure Act, it shines a bright light into all the dark corners of the lending world. So C is for collect the data and check for discrimination. Simple as that. It's all about accountability.
And then there's Regulation B, the Equal Credit Opportunity Act. This one makes the mission crystal clear. B is for bias-free. The goal is a lending process where everyone, and I mean everyone, gets a fair shot.
Okay, on to our final letter, V. And this one governs something that has a massive impact on your entire financial life, your credit report. Think about it. Your credit report is basically your financial resume, but you don't write it. Third-party companies do. So what happens when they get something wrong?
A single error could cost you a loan, a job, even an apartment. And another thing, who else is looking at all that private information?
Well, that's where Regulation V and the Fair Credit Reporting Act, the FCRA, step in. This law basically creates the rules of the road for everyone involved: the credit bureaus themselves, the businesses that use the reports, and even the companies that send in the information in the first place.
And here's the most important part. This law gives you the power. You have the absolute right to see your own report and dispute any and every error you find. It puts super strict limits on who can even pull your credit file. And get this, if you're ever denied something because of what's in your report, they legally have to tell you.
It really is that simple. V is for verify. It's all about your right to verify that the info being passed around about you is accurate, private, and fair.
So, there you have it. We have made it through the financial alphabet soup. We've decoded Z, X, C, B, and V. Now, let's pull it all together and see what this powerful shield we've built actually looks like. This right here, this is your financial decoder ring. Z is for zero surprises on cost. X is to expose those shady settlement practices. C is for collecting the data. And B is for bias-free decisions. And finally, V is for verifying your credit info. See? Together, they're not just a random jumble of letters. They are a powerful shield that protects you in the biggest financial moments of your life.
So, knowing your rights, that's the crucial first step. But the next step? Well, that's being ready to stand up for them. Now that you can decode this alphabet soup, you're more prepared than ever. So the real question is, are you ready to use that shield?